It's yet another day, so it's another disaster for Warner Brothers Discovery as they announced the Wonder Woman game has been cancelled and has broken many DC fans' hearts. Something that James Gunn and Peter Safran forgot to mention at the DC Studios press event. How convenient. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on X Twitter at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. You can follow me on Snapchat, Mick your host with the most, and now on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World, because I am crazy. So welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCU Daily. Disclaimer, I'm very well aware that the Wonder Woman game has no connection with the DCU, so why am I criticising DC Studios, James Gunn and Peter Safran and connecting them with this disaster? After all, it was DC Studios, James Gunn and Peter Safran, when they did their original press event back in 2023, that bragged that the DCU would be movies and streaming and animation and gaming. Where are the DCU games? If I was them, I'd be attaching a game to each movie. But a few months after they made their announcement, James Gunn said, well, the games won't actually be connected to the movies, which I think is the dumbest decision ever. I've said many times on here, on this very platform, if it were me, I would have been developing a Superman game with the same story and narrative from the Superman movie, and the movie wouldn't be released unless the game was ready to be attached to the movie. It's a great marketing attempt. It's a great marketing ploy. That's what they should be doing. If the game takes 5 years to develop, then don't release the movie for 5 years. You can wait. You've got Peacemaker 2. You've released Creature Commandos. It's fine. But these people are so incompetent. They made all these big promises and already they're cancelling stuff. You know, they're cancelling things. They've cancelled lots of things. They announced that lots of things that they were cancelling at the press event or having trouble developing. You don't admit to your customers that you're having problems developing Waller or basic TV shows, that Swamp Thing is now not happening. Oh, but we have discussions now and again. Discussions are no good. It ain't happening, is it, James? You made promises and they're not happening. Anyway, on to this Wonder Woman game cancellation that has broken many DC fans' hearts, and quite rightly so. And it will take confidence away from DC Studios, because like it or not, they did cancel a bunch of projects, and then a game, right, which is a DC game, whether it's connected to the DCU or not, is immaterial. You know, the DC Studios, they're claiming credit for things like Penguin when they had nothing to do with it. They're claiming credit for the Christopher Reeve story documentary when the only connection James Gunn and Safran have to that is the DC Studios logo, but they didn't want to talk about this cancellation, which they would have been aware of when they did that pointless DC Studios press thing. Now, that press event was pointless. Now, I know that one entertainment journalist didn't bother going, and he said afterwards he was glad he didn't waste his time. What was that press event about? It was about them marking their territory. It's because they're afraid the message is getting lost, that there's no hype or interest and excitement apart from a bunch of stands. So let's get into this then, because this is another disaster for Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers cancels Wonder Woman video game and shutters 3 studios. 3 studios. Monolith Production Player First Games and Warner Brothers Games San Diego will shut down as the company focuses its gaming effort on certain IP. That's just, don't ignore that. That's just them looking like they want to look like they know what they're doing. They don't. Warner Brothers Discovery is restructuring its video game division and shutting down 3 of its studios as it refocuses its efforts on some core intellectual property. Question: if you wanted to do this and you had this plan back in the day, right? A few months back when you announced this game. Why did you bother announcing this game in the first place? Because it was to create more false hype. And James Gunn is advising them to create this patter, this false hype. It's coming from him. This is how he used to work at Marvel, and this is how he's working at DC. And we can all see through it. In connection with the restructuring, the company also said that it is ending development of its Wonder Woman game, which it first announced back in 2021. Right, fair enough. So they announced it in 2021. Now, that there was no DC Studios plan there. So, I take back what I said. They clearly didn't know what. So now, because this is the thing, they want everything connected. So DC Studios is actually behind this. Instead, the company will focus on building the best games possible with our key franchises, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones, per a Warner Brothers Games spokesperson. The spokesperson added that 3 of the company's game studios, Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego, will shut down amid the changes. Monolith had been developing the Wonder Woman game, so that's a lot of people losing their jobs because the new division won't house all these people. Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities, the spokesperson said. So you're admitting you can't give people a great Wonder Woman game. Within our strategic priorities, the spokesperson said, this is another tough decision as we recognise Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. So why are you shuttering it then? This is a strategic change. Of course, they want to sound like this is all a strategy. A change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them. The spokesperson added, but you're putting all these people out of work. We greatly admire the passion of the 3 teams and thank every employee for their contributions. As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios and getting our games business back to profitability and growth in 2025 and beyond. This company, Warner Brothers Discovery, is fiscally challenged. They're in trouble. And that's the real reason they're shuttering these companies and putting honest, hard-working game developers out of work. Video games have been a top priority for the company since its formation in 2022, and it had early success with the Harry Potter game Hogwarts Legacy, and in particular the company has learned on its trove of IPs to develop games including DC Comics IP, of which Wonder Woman is a part of. When there's no Wonder Woman movie, by the way, no. Zack Snyder had a passion for Wonder Woman and gave us a great first Wonder Woman movie, and her inclusion in his Justice League movie was outstanding. Snyder had a good handle on Wonder Woman. Gunn doesn't seem to have much of an interest in Wonder Woman. Where's her movie? Where's she going to be? We'll have to wait and see if we see her cameo anywhere. But who's playing her? It's certainly not Gal Gadot. He tried to lie and say it kind of was, but we know it's not. Then Gal said that they were developing a Wonder Woman movie, but then they shut that down. So that wasn't happening. Gal, I don't know why Gal said that or what promises they made to her, but then they through the publications, THR Variety Deadline, they kind of put it out there that was wrong. So they have no time for Wonder Woman anyway. While other entertainment companies have leaned on licensing deals for IP-driven games, WBD was an outlier in that it continued to develop in-house. The restructuring suggests that it will do less of that going forward because they don't have the money, so they're going to get other people to make their games, probably share the profits or something that's cheaper to do. This is about spending less money because, as I say, they're a fiscally challenged company. And that's that. So, this is not a good thing. It's not about a strategic plan. It's about money. And this studio doesn't have very much of that. How are they going to develop a DCU when they don't have the money to do so? That they're so fiscally challenged that they decided to reboot Harry Potter and chuck him on streaming. By the way, they've announced John Lithgow is going to be playing Dumbledore in the rebooted series. John is a great actor, one of my favourites, but it's bad casting. They're going away from casting British actors for a story set in a British universe, and that is not good. And you'll say, Mick, well, it's acting, it's about pretending. I agree, I'm an actor myself, but they're the ones that say gay people must play gay people, trans people must play trans people, right? But when it comes to a British character, an American is going to be playing him. So they're such hypocrites. Anyway, back to DC, back to the Wonder Woman game. So many fans, DC fans, Wonder Woman fans, were excited about this game. And what I don't understand is, right, they say, they're folding these three companies, these developers, right? Fair enough. You're doing it for your own reasons. I think it's because they're fiscally challenged and they're on their knees. And it proves it, right? This proves what an amateur outfit they are. But why didn't they hand the Wonder Woman game to another game developer so at least it can continue? That's what a real company would do. But they've shuttered the game as well. Why? Why? And again, let me ask you a question. Where are these DCU games? They're not even in development. I think there's a rumoured Batman one. Yeah, because they think Batman's easy, Batman makes money, right? As I say, when you announce that you're creating a DCU for streaming movies, animation, and gaming, and there's no gaming to be seen, I have to go back to that. I really do. Because what it shows me with DC Studios and DCU is they made a lot of big promises. It's like James Gunn woke up one morning and grabbed a bunch of ideas from his backside and he goes, well, this sounds good. You can't have all these plans and ideas without a foundation, without a structure. And his plans for the DCU have no foundations, have no structure. And as I said earlier at the beginning of the show, at the top of the show, I understand that this Wonder Woman game had nothing to do with DCU. I now understand from reading that article that game was announced back in 2021. It's difficult to develop games. They take a long time. But if you're going to announce gaming as part of your universe, then games must be attached to movies. It doesn't matter if the games are a little bit more basic to get them out there, right? But you announced games as part of this universe, and they're not there. And now you've cancelled one of the Holy Trinity's games, right? There's no movie for Wonder Woman, as I said earlier. Where is she? Oh, we're getting Paradise Lost, which he said they're in development and they're really serious about getting that series out. And he's compared it to Game of Thrones again. I think this is something that he's pulling out of his backside. There doesn't seem to be any foundations for anything. And I think whether Superman's a great movie, whether it's successful, right? I think even when after Superman comes out, they'll be hoping it's successful and people love it. It'll give them more of a kind of more license to cancel more projects and go in a different direction. Because there's no question, when you look at something like Brave and the Bold, which I've said a billion times is not happening, and now they seem to be going down a different avenue, planning a Batman and Superman movie after his Superman movie, which Gunn will write and direct. I mean, he's already hinted it's the worst kept, secret within the fan community that's what he's going to do, world's finest. I think that is the direction he's going in, and he doesn't mind us knowing about it, but he's not ready to announce that project yet, because that really does depend on Superman being a successful movie. And I don't know if it will be successful or not. I'm not going to make predictions about that. I love the character and I want him to be in successful media. There's no question about it, no matter who's involved in the development of that. But the cancellation of this game, at the very least, shows you what an incompetent amateur outfit this is. Cancelling movies that have already been produced and made, cancelling games just isn't a good look.